It's time to talk about Las Vegas with Ira. Each week, Ira David Sternberg talks with the celebrities, entertainers, writers, and personalities who make Las Vegas the most exciting city in the world. And now, here's Ira.
Anything you want us to be, bring us your fantasy, LV.
My guest is country artist Sam Riddle, who has something special planned for its fans in Las Vegas. He'll perform at the Space LV this Saturday, September 3rd, with tailgate at 6:30 and the show at 8 p.m. This event is in support of Vegas Strong Charitable Foundation, which helps raise awareness for transitional housing foster care kids that age out of foster care, and veterans as well. For ticket information for both the venue and live stream, go to thespacelv.com, and for everything about Sam Riddle, go to samriddle.com, and you can follow him on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And Sam, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you start out in Missoula, Montana, you move at an early age to New York, and now you're surrounded by Broadway, but you're a country artist. So can you explain that convoluted journey to us?
Yeah, I mean, I was just really exposed to a lot of amazing things, growing up between my dad's, music career and acting career. And my mom worked for Neil Simon on Broadway when I was a kid. And my uncle was just a big time, player in the, producing and composing scene in New York City, whether it was Broadway or whatever. I was just exposed to a lot of things, and my childhood, there was a lot of that stuff going on. But when I found sports, that kind of gave me like my own thing, and that kind of took over. So music was always there for me to escape to, and it was always an amazing thing. And, I was playing basketball. That was the whole plan. I played D1. I was playing professionally. And this guy saw me play the piano this random night, and couldn't believe that he was going to pay me that much money to play the piano for him at his place. And that kind of, just to make a long story short, that next thing you know, this guy tries to get me to come to Vegas. And I came to Vegas a week later. I'm playing, 6 to 7 nights a week. I played piano on the Strip back when there was pianos on the Strip, not DJ. This is before This is before it became a big cruise ship, But, if there was a classy place, with a chandelier, like little lights on the tables and people were all dressed up, I was the dude in there playing piano. And that went on. And next thing I knew, I hadn't touched the basketball in a couple of years. And I was just like, well, I guess I'm doing music now. So I kind of tried to figure out, if I'm going to do this, who am I going to be? Country music is one of those things that's, just a real mixture of a lot of things. And it's always evolved. But I saw it as a genre that I could really be myself in if I really tried to find that. And I knew with the way I played piano and with all my influences, and then the fact that country music allows me to tell stories, I just thought it was a perfect fit for me, and I thought I could represent my family and represent where I'm from, and be able to really impose like my life, all my experiences into the songwriting, and it just kind of was a perfect fit for me. And over all this time that I've been doing it, it's allowed me to also find myself as an artist and really be real, and that seems to connect with people all over the world.
It's interesting from this point of view. You could have been the next Tommy Tune, but instead you're more Johnny Cash than Tommy Tune. You went from Broadway back to
my show. If you come to my show, there's I'm definitely, I'm dancing a lot more than other country artists. So, I mean, I guess there's some Tommy Tune still going on. And I was able to see Tommy Tune when I was a kid. And I believe he was probably about a foot taller than me.
He's a tall guy. Absolutely.
And he was just amazing. But so I try to put all the influences that I've had throughout my life into what I do. And that's what's really cool about this new music I have coming out. It's the beginning of, and it's the closest thing that represents, fully me and kind of like what you would see when you come see me live. One of the things I've struggled with is I've played so many, I've been playing 200-300 nights a year for so many years, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you got to see this guy. But then when they would show people, there was nothing online that represented or translated what I was doing. So, everybody like, oh, well, you just got to go see him. So I really made a conscious effort on this new music to try to make it so it had that same feel, and a lot of different influences within the songs. And this is the closest I've come to doing that, which is exciting. But yeah, as long as I stay real and I've stayed myself and I try to put all these things that I've experienced in my life into what I do, especially live, it seems to have really struck a chord.
I've heard a lot of people talk about the live performance rather than just seeing you in other media. And there is a big difference. And so here's the thing, though. You were talking about finding yourself. It still fascinates me because you moved from Missoula to New York, but then you moved back. But all that experience you had in New York, how did you, I'm still trying to put that part in my head. And then you went to Vegas.
That was a rough time.
Yeah, but how did you end up focusing on country music as the key to your true self?
I didn't want to be somebody that was writing ringtones, I had a lot of things to say. Country music, allowed me to, it's just life, a lot of the things people are dealing with or experiencing in Montana, they're experiencing those things in Queens too. And that's what's cool about my show. I mean, you see the people from Compton sitting with the people from Iowa, and all of us feel like we grew up together. So, that's what I've really realized about being all the places I've been, is that we're all going through the same stuff, and just our scenery is a lot different.
That's a good way to put it. You're sort of like the coal miner's son. The way I see it now. You mentioned your dad. His band is the Mission Mountain Wood Band.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Was he surprised at the direction you took in your choices, your career, and your desire to really speak with an authentic voice?
No, it just all made sense, really. The whole journey has made sense. The only thing he's mad at me for is quitting baseball, because that was my best sport. Because he's still to this day is convinced that I would have been, shortstop for the Mets, But other than that, it just all kind of makes sense. He always told me the easiest money I'd ever make was playing the piano, and I never really knew what he meant until I saw it. I was like, man, I can't believe this. But he was right about that. And
how old were you when you first started to play the piano?
It is the first thing I remember doing. You hear stories in the family, oh, he was playing it too, But, I mean, who knows when I really started playing. But my earliest memories in life, I was playing the piano. And it just kind of always came to me. If I heard it, I could play it. I'd get in a lot of trouble when my uncle was showing me stuff. He'd want me to look at the music, and I was just watching his hands. And so I never really had any formal training. It's just, it was always just something I could feel. And still to this day, I mean, my band knows if you don't have the right feel, I don't know what to play. It's all feel. It all comes from inside of me. So, moving back to Missoula, Montana from New York, in 7th grade. I mean, middle school kids are already mean, It was definitely a huge change. But, and this is before YouTube and all that stuff. So, I'm like from another planet to these kids, So, but it just, it ended up being amazing because, being able to live out there and breathe that air, it's so inspiring. And it was just as inspiring as it was for me to be a kid in New York City going to Broadway openings every week. This is back when my parents were they took me everywhere. If we walked into an after party at some bar, my dad would say either stay right next to him or disappear. And, I would usually disappear because there was always a piano player in the corner smoking a cigarette. And that's where I hung out. But
did you pick up the habit of the cigarettes as well?
Oh, heck no.
Okay, good.
No way. I can't stand that. But,
just the habit of the piano. I was thinking you could combine both passions if you learned to play the piano with baseball gloves.
Hey, man. I mean, some nights it feels like that.
Well, it sounds like you've had such a varied background between Montana, New York, and then Las Vegas. And then you leave and you come back again. So it's a nice little mix. In fact, Montana you came back to and Las Vegas you came back to. So in both, Missoula you came back to and Las Vegas you came back to. It's a nice mix.
Well, Las Vegas has been absolutely amazing to me since the day I got here. It has allowed me to figure this thing out. And the reason why when I decided to do the country thing, I knew that I was going to do it differently than what was going on. And because I had known Vegas from playing the piano 7 nights a week for 4 years, I kind of knew how to hustle and get a gig. But little did I know that it was going to start immediately in showrooms and never end like that. So I was very fortunate, but I knew I was going to do it different. And I knew that it would be, I knew it was going to be special, without even ever doing it before. And, it just kind of fit. And Vegas has given me, I wanted to do it out of Vegas. Everybody's like, go to Nashville. I was like, no, I'm going to do it from here. I want to do it from the place that's been good to me, number one. Number two, where else in the world can I make a living and play on big stages with lights and sound and in front of people from all over the world? Nowhere. I mean, this is the greatest for that. And you get a stigma playing in Vegas, Vegas entertainer, right? But what I've managed to do, which is, I believe, a really rare thing, is I've stayed an artist the whole time. I've never, even when we played a bunch of covers to fill 5 hours, at a casino, I play a lot of my stuff. And when we do covers, I do them the way I want to do them, so it's always been an original thing. And that's always really stuck with people. And I've just never conformed. I've tried to always, especially when people have come along and I see people trying to emulate it or copy stuff, that helps me know that I got to go somewhere else now. It's helped me evolve, helped me to constantly grow. And in those times, finding myself as an artist and being comfortable enough to truly be myself, and not feeling like I got to twang and talk about baling hay all day when really I've just been dribbling a basketball,
Well, it's a tricky little thing too, because on the one hand, you're trying to express yourself artistically, but you also have to succeed commercially. And that's not always an easy fit for a lot of performers and writers, etc., creative people. And so
it's very important though to stay yourself, or find who you are, because if you are being real, people will believe that, and it doesn't matter. The commercial stuff will come, I always knew that the live thing I always had, and I could keep doing that forever, and I could always make a living doing that. So I was able to have time to develop and figure it out and realize that the commercials will come to me. The minute when I'm trying to be something to fit in commercially, that's when everything goes haywire. And the ones that have been lucky enough to make it doing that, I feel bad for them because they got to put on that facade for the rest of their life.
You're right.
And they don't know who they are. And those people end up going crazy,
When you look at your music and you see yourself as a country artist, there's old country and there's new country and there's newer country. And do you put you may have more than 2 feet, but do you put 1 foot in old country and 1 foot in new country and another foot in newer country and another foot in what you, Sam Riddle, want to do? How does that all work for you?
I definitely have made sure now I don't even want, like when I'm working with people, like an engineer to make my music, I say, do not think about country music. Just do what I'm asking you to do. I don't even want to call this country the whole time I'm here. You know, all along, everything that I've put out, I really consider them all demos because they're all, you know, just quick things that I did in somebody's basement. And with the amount of money that I had at the time or say I had a couple of days off, you know, it's like, and they've never, I mean, I've always really liked them at the time, but it's always rushed. It's always like, is this, you know, does this really represent me at this time? And sometimes the song is there, but the production's not there, or the production's there, the song's not there. And I just, again, with this new stuff, I made a conscious effort to, number one, work with people who know me and know, hey, when I say, let's go all the way there, they're like, oh, okay. Like they know that I can go all the way there. And I don't have to explain to them, and they're not putting me into a box like everybody else has all along. I'm a huge fan of older country music, 90s country, you know, Waylon, all the way back to Waylon and Merle and all those guys. That's my favorite stuff. But there's something to be said about some things that have been put out all along. Like every now and then there's something that's like blows me away. And, but I just try not to do what anybody else is doing, you know? And again, that comes in, we're all unique, every single one of us. And if I'm doing what everybody else is doing, why would they pick me, this kid that's out in Vegas? You know, I'm not in this to be number 2. You know, I want to be the one, because every time somebody breaks through, if they actually do what they need to do and they stick to it and they break through, they end up trying to make 1,000 clones of that.
Of course. Yeah, that's the way it works, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know what I have, and it's not because of me, you know, because it's not even about me. It's about everybody else. It's about the people, and they know. And I just know if I stick to it and it breaks through, then that'll get me on Mount Rushmore. That's all I'm in it for.
When you look at it that way, is it a mix of touring and recording to make your dream come true, or is it one more than the other, or is it all just one aimed at the same goal?
Well, it is. If people knew the truth of the business, right, it's all outside money. I mean, even the major labels are using outside money. So it's like, why would you even go with one of these guys when they're going to make all the money back? You know, it's just like, it's just a funny business, and that people don't really know what's going on. So with me, it was the reason why I've never really like pushed and went crazy on social media is because I always knew if I went out on tour and you put me everywhere you put these guys, I knew that my social media would go crazy because you're playing for people that are on that and are influencers on that. When you're playing at Sunset Station, I mean, these people probably still have MySpace, you know. I mean, and you know, even though they loved it, who are they going to share with? Their 10 friends, you know. So I just kind of wanted to wait until I knew it was all together from top to bottom, even the music, that I felt comfortable knowing that this is different. And like, this is kind of like that time. That's why I recently decided to stop playing, you know, the lounges and doing that. There's some contracts I still have to fulfill throughout the year, but I'm trying to force the headliner only. and the ticketed shows only, because, it's just at that time where, of course, I want everybody to see me for free, but I can't be doing these lounge things because it doesn't matter how good I am. I'm getting stuck into a box, with all that. So, yeah, touring would help, and getting to as many people live. That is the goal. So yeah, touring is the goal, because I want to reach as many people as I possibly can. And I know that the live thing is the thing, right? But in order to get there, I need to strike a chord with something that isn't before they see me. And I feel like this is music that's coming out to, that I don't have to explain. I think it speaks for itself. And then when they see, because I'm never gonna make anything that's gonna compare to the live show. I don't even know how to do that. And hopefully I do. I shouldn't say never, because I hate that word, but I'm gonna still strive for that. But this stuff speaks for itself, and hopefully that will, help us, make that transition where when people do, because it's not like we haven't toured a lot. It's just that when we tour, people think that they're getting that, those 4 hours with the sets and, playing a bunch of my stuff. But, it's like I need to get it to where we're going to do a Sam Riddle concert, and there may be an opening act, and sure, I want to play 3 hours, but I want to play 3 hours because I feel like we're coming there to do an hour and a half of the greatest show we could possibly do, and of me. And, I just have to force that at this point in time, because it is time.
Now, the show you're going to be doing at the Space on September 3rd, it's for the Vegas Strong Charitable Foundation.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, but also about the show there that night. Is it going to be a special show and totally different from what you normally do, or some additions to what you normally do?
Well, obviously, it's going to be the only thing that's different is it's going to be I might throw one or two covers in there, maybe, but it's going to be a concert. Like if you were going to go see so-and-so at T-Mobile, they're not going to sit there and play for an hour and then say, hey, okay, we'll be right back. It's like, they're doing their concert. So it's just the beginning of this new era of just when you go see Sam Riddle, you're going to see Sam Riddle concert. I will have an opening act, Paige Overton, who I absolutely love. She's super talented. She'll do an acoustic set before we play. And, anything I ever do in Vegas, I try to involve something that I can do locally. So when I met these people that have the Vegas Strong Charitable Foundation, it was a perfect fit. What they do for kids and what they're trying to get done with vets. That's two of my biggest things I'm about, So they transition these foster kids into, with life skills, and get them with mentors and jobs and apartments, and teach them how to run their finances, and, all these things that will really give them a leg up on, having the best life that they can, at like 18, because once they turn 18, they're out, and it's like they're on their own, and they've been in this system, and it's just like, man. So it's a really cool thing that I've partnered with these people, and it's so funny because, part of the culture that, one thing anybody that comes around us realizes that we have a real culture around what we're doing. And something that's part of that culture is the tailgate. People getting there early and treating it like a football game.
This may be a first for the Space.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because they were like, what?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But, because I know people are going to start getting there at like 5. They'll be barbecuing. There's going to be cornhole, music bumping. People, a lot of my fans, they don't like buying these expensive drinks inside these places. So they like to party outside before they come in. And we're going to make sure there's going to be a food truck. There's going to be a bar out there. There'll be merch for sale. I think they're trying to get a bunch of the foster kids to come and hang out. And, of course, me and the band will come out and say hi. And it's just part of this culture that we're trying to show Vegas what we do when we go somewhere else. Vegas is a weird place. It's like people don't want to drive 5 minutes,
true.
if I'm like,
well,
hey, I'm playing at Sunset.
The locals won't, but a lot of visitors will. So
yes, they will. But the locals, man, it's like, oh, you're playing at Sunset? Oh, I live in Summerlin. That's too far. It's like, what? I used to have to drive an hour to get milk. It's like,
or you walked a mile. You walked a mile to your school when through the snow.
Yeah, uphill both ways.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But it's just I'm just trying to show Vegas, but my real fans that have been with me for a really long time, they know what it is. So they're gonna be there, showing the ropes to anybody new that we can bring along, and then the show is just gonna be. You're gonna hear the new sound. That's for one, but it's going to make sense to everybody that's been following me because, again, like everybody, it all will just make sense, and it's just a new era, a new level, and we're just trying to up it a little bit. Obviously, this is not going to be the show that has our lighting guy and the space is an amazing place, and one of the things is they have a great crew, great sound, great lighting, great stage. And they also have a 5-camera live stream shoot, which is one of the perks that I wanted people to be able to buy the live stream online. So it's $30 to get in the show, and it's $20 for the live stream. And again, if you come to the show, I know there's going to be moments where that people will have the opportunity to make donations to the foundation as well. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where I'm just trying to kick off this new era. I wanted to do it in Vegas, and I wanted it to also be in support of something that would mean a lot. So, it's just all came together. The other thing I want to say was it's crazy because September 3rd is also National Tailgating Day.
Perfect.
I did not know. And one of the people that we're working with is from National Day Calendar. And the fact that they told us it was National Tailgating Day, I was like, what are the odds of that?
Well, that's a great way to leave it. My guest has been country artist Sam Riddle. He'll be performing this Saturday, September 3rd, with the tailgate at 6:30 and the show at 8 p.m. This event is in support of Vegas Strong Charitable Foundation. For ticket information for both the venue and live stream, go to thespacelv.com. And for everything about Sam Riddle, go to samriddle.com, and you can follow him on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And Sam, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, it was great. Thanks for having me.
See you next time.
You've been listening to Talk About Las Vegas with Ira. Each week, Ira David Sternberg talks with the celebrities, entertainers, writers, and personalities who make Las Vegas the most exciting city in the world.